Hello everyone, this is Jasmine aka Gladiatorinsweats, and I'm here with some quick messages for the Resonant moon month of Attunement, the 7th moon month within the 13 moon synchrometer. So I want to thank all of the new as well as the returning subscribers to my channel. I'm very appreciative and just in very deep gratitude for you guys' support of my channel and of my work in general. So thank you for being here, and I really do hope that I'm able to provide some sort of clarity or insight to what's been taking place for all of us on this planet. So in just going straight into this, this 7th moon month, resonant moon month of attunement here, this is all about us returning to center, of us returning to who it is that we are outside of duality, returning to our essence self, the sort of 5D self, as some refer to it, higher self, whatever name that you'd like to use for that, but of us coming back to this sort of God presence and God mindedness. And so we've been talking all about this for this Jupiter and Sagittarius season. So you can see how this is all playing into it, regardless of what astrology or sort of system that you use to sort of track this. So in talking a little bit more about the characteristics of this month, I definitely feel that it is about us being in a more of a meditative state, and it doesn't even have to be about us being, closed eyes, sitting in an asana, meditating. I feel like this is even in reference to us being in a walking meditation, of us just being in an energy of being aware, of being perceptive, of just tuning into our environment and into ourselves to just see what it is that's, being told to us or shown to us. Just being more in an observant sort of space. I feel it's not even just about observing, but also just healing. When I even think about healing, I don't think of it more so about cleansing, but just more along the lines of returning to integrity, of a return to wholeness here. And so I feel there's unblocking of ourselves, and not just of things happening to us. I feel it's more so about the things that are happening for us, and the things that aren't in our control. We're able to liberate ourselves in creative ways, in unique ways. So I feel like this time is just very deeply magical and deeply spiritual, very just transformative, but magical, especially in a sense of perceptions changing and of things just not being very fixed and static. So, in really jumping into the cards, because I really want to get into the cards and what this means for us too. The card that I did pull for us from the Rumi Oracle, just to give us our central theme, I pulled the Layla card, which is to me all about engaging in this sort of Maya, in this game, in this matrix, in a way where we're not attached to our minds, in a way where releasing the idea of self, not forever. Again, this is all just about what's taking place and how it's really being purposeful in helping us return to who it is that we are truly, underneath all of the obligations and the, social conditioning and, et cetera, et cetera. So here, even, I feel like this is about a connection, not just connection to that God mind itself, but it's about us releasing those ego attachments, the need to know, the need, not even just the need to know, but like the need to determine something is this or that, the need to compartmentalize and categorize, to put something in a box and to really give something a label and a definition. I feel like it's really about breaking out of that, of not being so sure, of being unsure, of being comfortable in a very palpable, very physical unsureness, of not knowing what's going to take place, but really just following our inner guidance and following our heart compass that is letting us know, not just what it is that we're feeling, but maybe what it is that's trying to be shown, what it is that we can learn or pick up from this. It doesn't even have to just be from like an actual situation taking place. Again, it can even just be, something that you happen to be present for, some situation or an event, or just a happening in your life where you happen to see something, and maybe that experience or that seeing, that sight was able to connect something. So it's not even just so much about these big, grand, the way that we commonly believe magical things are supposed to happen. I feel like even here, it's just about recognizing the innate magical essence of this game, but not even just that. Just the overall feel for me. Again, it's just really about letting ourselves just be in the full sort of Pisces environment of allowing ourselves to not just necessarily go with the flow, but again, being observant, of allowing ourselves to see what needs to be seen, allowing ourselves to release our attachment to what it is that we think something's supposed to be, of how we think things are supposed to go, of even our attachment to, moral superiority, just all of those sorts of things. Everything that really creates like a smaller and smaller focus or lens, so that we're not able to really see the more unlimited view of what's taking place, and not just taking place, but what is true and what is real for us. So I know that maybe seemed very metaphorical or just very sort of airy way to put something, but really I feel like that's really the point of us not being so grounded in the old ways. I don't think it's about being completely ungrounded or anything like that, but about us being more grounded in a higher understanding, of being grounded in a higher awareness and perspective of things. So just the way I'm just seeing is, instead of coming from it from like a mouse perspective, of coming from it from a hawk perspective, which I'll talk more about about the hawk at the very end of this video. So, in returning to the Rumi Oracle, I definitely feel like it is about us being in this unknowing, being in this void space, as I've been talking about, this sort of Pluto initiation, just being in the in-between space of not knowing, but it's not even just of not knowing, but also I feel just the idea of being in like a waiting room before you gotta go to the next room, the next world, if you want to look at it that way too. So I did pull a card for each of the weeks to sort of give an overview of what's taking place on each of these weeks. And of course, I give even more in-depth views of what's going on weekly on my Instagram. So you can definitely head there for that. But for this, I pulled a card for each week. And so starting with the first week, I feel this Temperance card is definitely of giving us a signal about this transformative phase, or, I mean, it's really just phase upon phase, into phase, the way I just see everything just happening and overlapping on top of each other. And so as, we're in the middle of all of these transformations, we're now beginning another level, another phase of this alchemical process of integration and of reharmonizing ourselves. So I also feel with this Temperance card, there could be an outpouring of our emotions, release of, emotional detachment, or just any sort of old emotions that have been lingering for us, releasing all of this so we can reach more of that innocence and that purity and return to our integrity. I just feel here, also, I mean, obviously there's an enlightenment and an illumination that's taking place here too. So I feel like this is in connection to a lot of things. I feel like this is also about the solar eclipse that just took place. And so maybe this is also about this having been kicked off with that, and this maybe being, I don't want to say completed, but it's, being continued and concluded throughout this full lunar eclipse that we're going to have. And just all of these planetary transits that will be taking place as well, because we'll also have, a new moon in Aquarius after this for me, which will be representative of us really honing in on the sort of DNA, the information, cellular knowledge from ourselves. I'm just seeing this more about a higher alignment of our light body, like that light body and that sort of DNA being activated and integrated there. So I just feel like this Temperance card, again, is about us not just reharmonizing, but, a cleansing and a return to our integrity so that we're able to build upon a more firm and more genuine foundation of who it is that we are. So not just with that, but as I was talking about with the outpouring of our emotions or the release of our emotions, with this second card, with the second week, I do have this Three of Swords in reversed. For me, it's definitely a signaling of us moving on, of us, I feel, maybe even being in the midst of the storm, as I was referring to the blue storm wave spell that begins the week prior. So I feel like this will be about some sort of, uncomfortable situations or emotions having to be dealt with or having to be resolved. And maybe perhaps in a new way. Maybe this could even be about having to shed some of our old perceptions about the things that have happened to us. Could even be about a reframing of what has happened, or I don't necessarily say again about what's happened to us, but what has taken place rather. So I do feel this about a clearing of our emotions, an opening of our hearts, as far as really acknowledging, what it is that we feel. So I don't necessarily pick up on this as a feeling good so much, which of course we could feel good too, but I feel like, again, this is maybe more so about having to acknowledge those negative emotions and be more honest with those emotions so that we're able to release them. We're able to maturely forgive or just move forward from what has taken place. Taken place. Following this with this Eight of Pentacles, I feel like this is after us been in this deep process of review and this deep, inventory of what it is that we feel serves us, what we feel doesn't. This for me is all about that process of, cleaning those details, making those, those small, I don't want to say small changes, but of us noticing, those little things, of us recognizing it's not about like these big grand changes taking place, but more about these little things where we can recognize like how those pieces aren't fitting into place, or how those aspects of our life aren't really of quality or up to quality for what it is that we feel is, again, true for ourselves, or is not in alignment with what we feel divinely wants to be expressed through us. So I definitely feel this about being consistent too, about being diligent. I feel also with us being in Capricorn season, but also I've just felt very much just beginning in this year a focus on discipline, on these things being tests for us. And so I feel here it's even about a maintaining of our integrity and a maintaining of quality of our existence, because I do think that we're in this period of even hardening and crystallizing this I don't even keep framing it as new, because it's not even just necessarily new, but it's really just about it being new in this like present now, as far as these old habits or just these very outdated behaviors or patterns, just replacing them with new in this present now, but just more. I just look at it as more integral, more genuine, more sincere in our behavior, in our patterns. So I'm definitely feel that here. But also just about really, being diligent about how it is that we will assert ourselves, and being diligent about our our activity and what it is that we are doing. So this does round off with, an amazing card, Ace of Wands here, which for me is even in connection to the Temperance card, but also I did pull the Queen of Wands for the collective yesterday, or a couple days ago at least. So I do also feel here it's also about an initiation of our fire, of the inner flame within us, of us sparking it bigger and bigger, brighter and brighter within ourselves, to the point where, again, it does, take form, and it does create, I don't want to necessarily just frame it as a habit, but again, of these more healthful and more honest ways of presenting ourselves and of being. So I also feel here it's about these new changes, and even about these spiritual beginnings happening too, of us being impassioned and initiated into not even just about our new paths, but of, opening new purpose and of new creation, what it is that we are desiring to recreate within this physical now. And I say recreate because I feel like there is a energy of something that is created, or something that is within us, something that already is. And I feel like it's about a recreation and a remodeling of that in a physical way. So maybe you feel that, and maybe that is resonant for you, but I just really felt that just now, of this being about not just creation, but of recreation. So yeah, overall, just all together with these cards, I feel there's impassionate, new beginnings of us, even, passionate releases too, I feel, of these transformations and these changes being emotional and being challenging for us, but of that being the whole point of these challenges, again, being these rites of passages and these initiatory sort of portals through to these, future concepts of who we are. I do kind of look at it as, I don't know why. I just thought of Mario Kart, or just really any racing game, and they have like, a strip on the floor where it like helps you speed up. I just think of that, of these portals, which really I can just see them as events or circumstances or happenings that can work to really accelerate us into, this higher awareness. And not just that, but of opening us more and more and more to the messages that really need to be received, the clarity that we are so desperately seeking and hoping for. So yeah, overall, I do feel like this is definitely about us coming into this manifestation and, physical form and creation of this higher sense of self, this expanded awareness, just really being able to be more in alignment with our true nature, and being more in the faith and understanding of the universal workings. I feel just being more in touch with, source, being more in alignment with our imagination. I just really feel like this is magical, not just because of the transformations that are taking place, but just of the acknowledgement for us, the human collective at this time, of, worlds that are, I don't even want to say unknown, but just are unseen. So, yeah. Oh, and before I do end, I did want to tell you guys about the hawk and why I brought that up. So, the card that I did pull for today, because I wanted to just pull any last information or any last messages that the collective just really most needed at this time. And the card that I did pull was the hawk card. And so, this is the messenger. This is all about being in connection to our thoughts and in communication with, ideas and with other aspects of ourself and with source. This hawk card here is about Mercury and being in between the communications of these different worlds and realms. So here I do feel, again, it is about us being perceptive, of us being in a more observant sort of energy and nature, to be just more receptive to messages and information, as opposed to wanting to put information out, or like the way that the mind does, where it's like, I see this, what is it that I think that it is, and then it guesses, and it does what it can to fill in those blanks. And so here I feel like it's not about us filling in those blanks by ourselves, allowing whatever is blank to be blank, because it will fill itself in due time. I feel here with this card. And especially with the bottom of the deck, it's I believe you pronounce it grouse. And these are both birds. So I love that it's both two birds. So I feel like, again, this is about this higher connection to the etherical realm of us being within the mental and the mind. So that, and as I said with this grouse, this is representative of, the spiral, the return inward of, birth and death and rebirth. So these two cards together, I feel, are all about us being in tune and aware to, this process, and being in the middle of this underworld, like, rite of passage, of us just allowing ourselves to be guided and allowing the messages to come through as they must. And yeah, I really feel that deeply here, just being in tune with our intuition and our perception, and just allowing ourselves to see the bigger picture, see how it is that these things that are happening for us and have happened for us, how, it can all bring us back into alignment with our path, and how everything ultimately is working in hopes for, bringing us closer onto our path if we do feel lost or, misaligned with it. So yeah, I will post more of the passage for this card on Instagram today, because I really feel like it's very relevant. But otherwise, yeah, that's really all that I have for this month. So just an overview. We're really, like I said, just coming into ourselves, getting more in touch with ourselves, and healing ourselves, which is really about us, again, returning to our innocence and our purity and essence of who it is that we are, before shame and guilt and obligation and, all of these things that, we feel hold us back from what we are or what it is that we wish to be. So yeah, thank you so much again for tuning in and being here with me. And once again, I really do hope that this provided some sort of clarity and insight to what has been taking place and what will be taking place over this next moon month. So yeah, you can actually access this free download where you can see the calendar for yourself. It's prepared in a way where it follows the moon month, where it has 28 days. And so I've included the Gregorian dates and everything on there so you can follow along. It also includes the Western astrology transits, as far as the very key transits and the key shifts within the Mayan dream spell count too. I really wanted to keep it very practical and just very focused and intentional on just being aware of the very important or just very much more relevant shifts and helping you to just be in more sync with that. So yeah, it also includes the oracle, the oracle message, and it includes the cards. So you have some messages for each of the weeks. I really like the PDF that I created because it's essentially what I create for myself every month. So I have it available for you if you're like me and you're a self-studier and this is what you love to, indulge in. So that's there for free. With a link down below, as well as links to my social media, my Instagram, and my website if you'd like to book a personal session with me. Otherwise, I will see you guys, or speak to you guys rather, in the next video. And yeah, without further ado, you guys, I send you guys so much love, and I really hope that everyone is, just making it through the best that they can, and, pat yourself on the back, for every time that you can, congratulate yourself, and even just celebrate yourself, not just for being here, but even just for the victory that we're just all in a matter of time of reaching, because we're in this 3D world where time exists. So it's all a matter of time of us coming into these transformations as we've been just hoping for, and really just been looking forward to, I feel, for many of our lives, because like I said, and as I have been saying, and all of us have been saying, this shift of consciousness and this shift of awareness for all of us, it's a collective thing, and it's something that underlying, our individual selves connected, we have all been wanting this, and so that's why we're all experiencing this and all helping each other through this. So yeah, thank you guys so much once again, and until the next one, so much love and many blessings. Peace, guys.